What's up, hair beauty bosses? It's your hair business's best friend, Mikey. And today, this is the first time doing this live in the group. I am bringing a special guest in to speak with you. This is my guy. I put in, some of the posts. I met Kendall back in 2014. We were both kind of getting started in our journeys. And Kendall's one of the greatest guys I met in the last decade. Hands down. He's worked with a couple of the small companies you might have heard of: Home Depot, Delta, the Chicago Bears, the Bears. The list goes on and on. This guy's time is very, very valuable and expensive at this point. So I want you guys to give him a warm welcome. A thank you for being here today. For giving us this knowledge. He has worked with so many experts in so many different industries. So he has so much knowledge to give you that my goal and his goal is to help propel you in the world of business. You might already be there now and you're a little bit lost and need to know where to go. Or maybe you're thinking about getting started in the entrepreneurial journey and you need a little bit of help doing so and having the right direction. So here we go. I'm bringing on Kendall. There he is right there, guys. Kendall Ficklin. Welcome to the live. Yes, great grind day, Kendall.
Grind day. Let's get it.
So if you could just kind of give the group that unbelievably wouldn't know you yet, if you could just kind of give them a little rundown about kind of where you started, where you are today, just so they can have a little background on Kendall Ficklin.
I think one of the greatest things about that, Mikey, is really what you said. When you met me, I was this quote unquote aspiring speaker, right? Because I felt like at that point in my life, that's what I was called to do. And then as I got a little bit more mature in the game, I realized that the speaking was just a platform for me to express the gifts and the talents. So I always tell people, I was about 8, 9, maybe 10 years old, Mikey, and my very first business was a shoe shine board. At 8, 9, or 10 years old, I made my first shoe shine box. And I made the box with the wooden box. I went and took my father's shoe shine polish, used, not new. And then I went around the corner to the bar where he drank at it all the time. And I started shining shoes and the guys would pay me. And I would leave out of there with $50 on a Friday, $30 to $50 on a Saturday. And it was okay because everybody knew me. I was Van's son. But then, Mike, and my friends, my boys would come and be like, hey, why don't you buy us some candy? Let's go to the store. And I'm spending my money on them. And I was like, no. I'm going to help y'all make your own boxes. And y'all can come with me. But for every shoe that you do, I'm going to need to get $1. Let me have $1 for every shoe that you do. So I had a little crew. And even when I didn't go out and was able to do it, they were out doing it and everybody would bring me that $1. And so I tell everybody that I have been a really born an entrepreneur, business owner from the time I was born. And so we go through life and we do these different things in our life. And that's the entrepreneurial journey. So there was a period where I was speaking heavy. I connected with CJ, who was the president of ETA. That's Eric Thomas's, the president of his company. Connected with him back in 2015. He started coaching me and I went on this track in the speaking game. And then I was also coaching. And then I realized about a year or two into it that I love this speaking, but I literally went to CJ Mikey and was like, you can keep this speaking thing. I'm good on that. I just want to coach, right? I just want to go coach. And during that time, I didn't really know what to coach on. I was trying to figure out all these niches. And then about 2 years ago, it hit me like I have been a full-time business owner, entrepreneur for nearly 30 years. And I'm 52 years old. From the shoe shine board to selling cell phones before they actually really became big. I'm talking about we used to do the bag phones. I had a Bell Atlantic application that I would have people fill out and I would call it in. I had a beeper company. People were coming to my house to pay their $4.95 a month beeper bill. I got a wholesale account with PageNet back in the day, not to mention the books, the clothes, the illegal hustles I did, all these different things, the janitorial business, all of the barbershops that I had. And so when I realized that I'm a business owner, I'm a businessman, I'm an entrepreneur, that was when I set my sights in on, let me be to those young entrepreneurs. And when I say young, I don't mean in age. I mean people just getting into it. Let me be for them what I didn't have when I was growing up. Because Mikey, as you know, we didn't really have mentors. We didn't have people that could guide us. We didn't have people that could show us the way. And if I had someone like myself, someone like you, when I was younger, ain't no telling where we would be right now. Like, there's no telling. But Mike, here's the crazy thing. For all of the people, even those that are close to us in our family, and I know it happens with you, with all of the success that we have in business, people that are close to us, they don't get close enough to learn. And they want to do business, but they don't get close enough to really learn and drink from the fountain and let us be to them what we needed when we were coming up. And so I tell people now, when they say, what do you do? I literally help entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, business owners build, grow, and scale their business. And they say, Coach, well, what qualifies you to do that? I've been full-time doing this for nearly 30 years. Wins and losses, major losses and major wins. My most recent company, we went from zero. When you met me, zero, Mikey.
Yeah, I remember.
We about to touch 7 figures in 2021. So multiple 6 figures. And so what I do now is I really want to coach and help people build, especially entrepreneurs, build those businesses. And I got to be clear with that. Build those businesses, because social media would have all of us thinking that all you got to do is go post and you're doing business. You're hustling backwards sometimes when you're doing that. So I want to help people build businesses. And that's what I do when I'm working with different companies like the Bears, the Bills, Home Depot, AT&T. I'm walking into these companies and helping their teams improve performance so that their bottom line can increase in revenue.
It's so important. You actually, like, my legs, I got the chills a little bit. I had this, I said this exact same thing. It was either yesterday or the day before. My photographer and videographer, they're making these awesome videos actually right downstairs from my office. And I was explaining to them about kind of a little bit more about me and my entrepreneurship journey and all the fails and losses that I had. And it's part of the journey, right? But one of the specific things I said, look, guys, there's going to be times that I take you to the side and I'm showing you specific stuff. You didn't ask for me to show you this, right? But you're doing photo, you're doing video, which is good. And you're being amazing at this. But, part of my journey is just like you. I never had that one person that would steer me in the right direction. And how I explain it to them is I felt like for the last, I'm 43. So I started doing entrepreneurship when I was 10, raking leaves in DC area. I'm raking leaves. I'm shoveling snow. I'm cutting the lawn. I mean, it was 3 seasons of hustle there. The lemonade stand, the sports card selling. I said, for my whole life, I feel like I've been running, and I've been running on this gravel path, right? And I never had that one person that would take me over to that nice paved path. Because if you've ever run on a gravel path versus the paved path, guess what? You're going to go a lot further, faster, and easier on that paved path. Yeah. And I never had anyone do that for me. So I feel like one of my missions within this group that we're live in now is to give back to these entrepreneurs and help them stay on that nice paved path. I've already made the mistakes. You don't have to do it. It's cost us a fortune. You don't have to do this. I'm not going to steer someone in the wrong direction. Whether they're one of our clients or not, it doesn't matter. I'm all about the whole industry as a whole being better.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to be honest. When I met you, when we met, you became that mentor for me. Because remember, I ain't have nobody. You ain't have nobody when you were coming up. So I would, remember, I would come, I would sit, I would listen. I would go make moves, make adjustments. I would make changes. I would actually work the information that you gave me. But so many times people come to us, and it's going to be people on this live. And the information that we're going to share in this live, a man told me a few years ago, he said something that I'm talking about changed my whole perspective. He said, every adjustment that you make should add a 0 to your bottom line. Every adjustment that you make should add another 0 to your bank account. Every adjustment. So it doesn't take all of these great, it's just one little adjustment. Boom. Here's an adjustment. Right. Boom. Here's another little adjustment. Boom. And then you have to allow that thing time to breathe. Right. And when you let it breathe, this is I told a client this the other day. They were like, Coach, you gave me the framework. You told me what to do. I ran it for about 3 or 4 days. I haven't seen the traction. I was like, you ain't let it breathe. You didn't let it breathe. You put it out there, and I'm talking about it can't even hold its own bottle yet. You got to let it breathe. And what happens is, because social media, it can be a gift and a curse. We think everything's supposed to be right now. And I myself had to learn, like, hurry up and slow down. Like, allow your framework time to grow and process into what it's going to be. So I told a client the other day, she was like, Coach, I can't see the vision. I don't know what it looks like. That's okay. Keep going. The closer you get to it, the clearer it will become. But if you don't make moves, so like a lot of people, they ask questions, right? And they'll get an answer, but it doesn't sound like what they think it should sound like. And so they'll tell you, hey, Mikey, I'm trying to figure this out. I'm trying to figure that out. And you've been trying to figure it out for 6 months. And in trying to figure it out, you haven't worked anything out. So now, instead of really figuring something out and making a move, you're not doing anything. So you're stagnant. And then you're wondering why your business is not generating revenue. Peter Drucker said, the only, wait, hold on, I want to make it right because I don't want to misquote him. Hold on a second. He said, the purpose of any business is to create a customer, period. Point blank, create a customer. And then you rinse and repeat. The purpose of any and every business is to create a customer. So when you go in with that mindset, every day I wake up and I'm looking in my RHQ, which is my relationship headquarters, where all of the traffic, all of the leads, all of the prospects that we've been hunting for all night, all day, all week are coming and they're sitting. And so when I have people coming to the RHQ, I'm saying to myself, I am looking for a customer. A customer is somebody that actually exchanges money with you, commerce with you for a product or a service that you have. And here's where most people fail. 98% of people don't follow up, Mikey. And so what happens is somebody will come into your store and they'll purchase something, but then that's it. It's just a one-time purchase. You don't have systems set up that where on the back end after I think about it. I think it might be, I'm hooked on Banana Republic. Like I said, I'm hooked on Banana Republic. And I signed up for the Bright Rewards and I signed up for the Nike. I signed up for On Running, the shoes, a few other places. And I get emails all the time, Nordstrom's with sales. And so what they're saying is you purchased from us before. We've got these sales going on. We'd love for you to purchase again. They've got a system set up. Now you would think they big. Why do they need to do that? Because they understand the power of social media, the power of email, the power of business. And so most of the people that are on here, one of the things I want y'all to take away from this is think about your back end, your systems, your automations. What is your sales system? What does that look like? What does the actual sales system look like from the beginning to the end?
It makes so much sense, and so much stuff that we've built within private label extensions is automations, all the stuff just like you're saying in the back end. And that's one of the reasons why we've become really successful is we really focused on the email automations. Like when someone purchased something, it's the post-purchase follow-up, everything else, the retargeted Facebook ads and other ads. So once they go to our website, look, you're going to see private label. You guys watching know if you go to private label extensions website, you're going to see us for a while. Whether you come back or not, we're going to stay top of mind. It's so very important. I know what questions, like I actually was just messaging back and forth with someone was asking me some questions about getting started in the hair business, right? So once you start getting bigger, you have to use tools to be able to handle things at scale, meaning I can't personally help the 32,000 people in this group one-on-one. It's just not possible. And that's why through like the Facebook Messenger, I try to be polite and respond whether I have time or not. I mean, I might have been at a red light replying or something when I'm not supposed to, but I'm just like, I'm trying to do this.
He said, don't judge.
But that's what, yeah, don't judge. I'm sorry. Okay. But like, that's why we create pages on the site that has information step by step, because we've already been asked this stuff before, and you use the technology, the Q&A for your website. So like if you're just getting started in the hair industry or any industry really, as people are asking you those redundant questions, don't spend your time answering the same question over and over and over. Make it easy for the person to find the question and answer themselves. One of the things we realized is, honestly, a lot of people, they don't like to read anymore, right? They just want the quick answer or watch a video. So that's why you'll see by the end of this year, everything's going to video. So we'll have the text because the text is important for those that want to read. You have photos that some people are more visual, want to see the photos. And then you have the video for people that just want to watch a video because you might not be in a position or in a place that you can watch a video and hear. So you might go ahead and read. So understanding those three things. And I actually learned that from a meeting I had with a teacher that we talked about kind of working together on some programs to help the group. And she said, she explained to me the three ways people learn. She she's been a teacher for about 10 years. And when she told me, it really clicked. And I said, that's what we need to be doing.
Yeah. In what you said, here's something that's super powerful. Changing the mindset to go from a transactional thinking, meaning creating just one sale, to actually relational thinking. So now we made a transaction, but how can we turn that transaction into a relationship?
Right.
And that is, everybody now, as you become this entrepreneur, you have to be thinking relational. Every transaction should lead to a relationship or continue to cultivate that client or customer relationship. So what you said, answering the questions, using the videos, using SMS and text, using Facebook Messenger, those tools are designed to connect, communicate, and cultivate relationships from either a current customer, a past customer, or a future customer. But the key word, or the key word in all of those is customer.
Customer.
And so when we start thinking about customer, and not just like I use the term stop hustling, because hustling means I'm just trying, for everybody in this group, I'm just trying to sell you a piece of hair. I'm not just trying, for me in my business, I'm not trying to sell you a service. I'm not trying to sell you just a t-shirt. I'm trying to serve you with a product or a program that can make an impact in your business. And then as we grow together, that know, like, and trust factor kicks in. Let me give you the analogy I always use. So think about, when we were single and we used to go out to the club. And as guys, we put on our best clothes. We get the haircut. We got the best shoes on, the clean t-shirt. I'm talking about we feeling pretty good with one objective: to attract a young lady to come up and let's exchange numbers. So watch this. Here's the mindset of some new entrepreneurs. They'll make their product or program look great and it's very attractive. And you take it to the club. And the people that you're trying to attract, they come up to you and they say, hey, and the first thing you try to do is say, you want to come back to my house right now? And you done messed up. Now, every now and then it'll work, but you got to remember, that's a one-time transaction. When I used to go out, way before I got married, when I was single, when I used to go out, Mikey, my objective was, I'm not looking for the one-time transaction. I'm looking for a long-time relationship. It may not end up in a marriage, but I'm looking for a relationship where we can be friends, we can grow together. So I want every entrepreneur to think about your business, your entrepreneurial endeavor as an actual pot where you are making your product attractive to your ideal audience, your primary market, your secondary market. And as you make that thing attractive, bring them into your relationship headquarters and you connect with them. You communicate with them via email, via video, via text, via Facebook Messenger, and you cultivate that relationship. And then one day you say, hey, you want to come by and cook me dinner, or can I come by and cook you dinner? And that's the night. And then look, and if you serve them properly, I don't know why I'm going here, Mike. If you serve them properly, they'll come back for more. They'll say, what else you got? What else you got? Now you have a client, you have a customer that really loves the product, and not just the product, but the experience that came along with it.
Yeah. It's that's a big part of our group. There's thousands and thousands of people in our group that don't do business with private label extensions, and I feel like, try to give out as much free information for the hair community than anyone possible. If I saw anybody giving remotely the information that we give out at private label extensions, on up the game. I mean, it's just, we're going to go as extreme as possible. And, someone might be in this group for years, never buy hair from us, might be using other vendors or other technology or services. And I'm totally fine with that. But when it comes down to it, it might be years down the road. I mean, it's the real long game. It might be years down the road, their vendor's onto something and be like, they're going to say, well, where am I going to get this? And say, like, you know what? The private label extensions, I bet you they have it. And we might win at that time. I think you're right about people are just too much in a rush in business, and they don't build a relationship. So you have to build the business is one thing, but the other half of that is building the brand, right? People buy from brands. They don't buy from businesses, right? So the trust level and the factor is going to be a whole new level, especially when getting started with a business. If you have this new startup, people need to realize how long-term a business is, right? I mean, I'm 7 years in this. You know,
Yeah.
you're many years in what you're currently doing, right? So
Yeah.
the problem I always feel like is people in the beginning, setting up the business, you got your new logo, you got your website, it's sexy, you're talking to all your friends, you're bombarding your social media, all this stuff. That's kind of like the me and Raj talk about. It's kind of like the honeymoon phase, right? Your
Yeah.
honeymoon's always good. Everyone loves their honeymoon. But in a marriage, which is similar to a business as well, in a marriage, it's this long term. So there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs that come with
Yeah.
it. You know, business is very emotional, right? Great entrepreneurs have to take a lot of the emotion out of the business, right? It's okay to be passionate for success, but the emotion will crush you. Okay. And understand this is long term. It is going to get boring at times, right? But you have to really focus on, just like a marriage. I'm just saying marriages, long relationships, they can get boring. Let's be real people here and talk.
No.
They need the real stuff, right?
Let me tell you from experience. Yes, they get boring.
I mean, we'll all admit it. You got to admit it.
Yeah.
And you got to be real and true with
Yeah.
yourself to be successful. So remember that this is going to be long. There's going to be a time that you're not motivated, you're bored in the business, and you have to think of different ways to motivate yourself, to focus on time management, and just, you know, really grow your business. So, which is kind of like actually a segue. We had some questions in the group. You know, I have them in order here, but I mentioned time management and focus. Let me just start with time management first. Is there some tips that you can give to the group of time management that would help them with their business?
Absolutely. Let me say this to everybody. First of all, I don't believe in time management. I believe in priority management. And what that means is every single month, what I do with my group is we focus on the top 3 targets for the month as it relates to your business, right? Every now and then, I'll throw in life also, because I do life and business together. To me, it's a rhythm, not a balance. So priority management. So your priorities for June, and I'm going to give a real life example, Mikey. So one of my clients, he said, Coach, man, I'm having a problem fitting everything in to the day. And the very first thing I said, Mikey, was, let me see your calendar. Open up your calendar, put it on the screen. And it was empty. And I'm like, well, look like you're fine. Look like your day is good to me. And he was like, oh, I don't put it. I put everything on the paper. That's the problem. What goes in the calendar gets done, right? This call we had today is on my calendar. So what I say is, this is what we're going to do. I even created a planner. So for June, and I want everybody to try this. For June, what is your target revenue number? So in the group, we got about 50 people in the group, in our coaching group, and everybody. And I tell them straight up, if you don't have a target number for June of revenue, contracted revenue or real revenue for June, then this might not be the group for you. The reason why I'm doing it on the back end is because we're creating dominant focus in specific target areas. I don't believe in using the word goals anymore. I came away from goals. I use targets. It has a different connotation. So June, what are 3 targets that you want your business to hit in June? You write down the revenue. You write down, maybe you want to generate more leads, whatever that specific number is. And then you have a 3rd target. All 3 targets need to be SMART. Just like the SMART goals, they need to be SMART targets. Specific, measurable, attainable, whatever the R and the T is, right? SMART goals. So now once you create those targets, then the next thing you do is, for each target, what 3 to 5 strategies will you use just in the month of June to put you closer to hitting that target? So if you know that your revenue needs to be X, Y, and Z, first you have to say, what in my war chest? And your war chest is that place where all of your products that have pricing on it, like whether it's hair, whether it's a notebook, whether it's a t-shirt, everything that's in your war chest that you can sell to the marketplace. So what am I going to use in my war chest to hit this number? Then the second thing that you say to yourself is, what 3 to 5 strategies am I going to implement this month on a consistent basis to drive attention to that product and or to my relationship headquarters to put me in a position to share the product? Then you do the same thing with the other 2 targets. And you put all of these things in your calendar every day. You block off an hour, you block off time. If you're going to do webinars, if you're going to do Facebook Lives, if you're going to do Instagram Lives, all of that needs to be on your calendar for June. And then now you got your business stuff lined up on your calendar for the whole month. We do this in the group. People show their calendars online, and they're like, then my guy, after he did it, he was like, wow. I said, yeah, you got more time than you think. So think about it this way. I break it down like this. There's 168 hours in a week, right? If you just do 50 hours for your working day, right? 50 hours for your working week, and then you deduct time to sleep, 56 hours. Ain't nobody sleeping 8 hours a day. I don't care. I don't care who you are. You ain't sleeping 8 hours a day, not in this day and time. You do 56 to sleep. You do 20 hours for family time. I'm gonna give you 20 hours in a week just for family. And I'll throw in 20 hours just to trick off, Mikey. I'm talking about you ain't got to do nothing with this 20. Once you deduct all of that from 168 hours, it still leaves you with 3.14 hours a day or 22 hours or 21 hours a week. You still got time in the week to get done the personal stuff that you want to get done. But the great thing is in your business, you have now prioritized what's important and what needs to get done. Watch this, for you to hit those targets for June. Now, here's where it makes all the sense in the world. If we do that for June, we got 3 targets. Then we get close to them or we hit them, we level up in July. We raise that target for July. We get close to them, we hit them. Then we raise it up for August. Now we build a momentum, right? Now we have a system being created on the back end with our calendar. I know what I'm doing every month. I got it scheduled out every month. Now think about what your bank account is going to look like in December. Think about what momentum you will have created in December, and think about what frameworks you'll be able to extract from the systems that you've created. And here's the great thing. With those 3 to 5 consistent strategies, and you're driving new leads or new prospects into your database, think about how much more extended revenue you can generate just from the new business. So it's not about time management. Get your priorities together. And here's the thing, Mikey, your priority is June. Period. And then you go July, my priority for July.
Yeah.
Then August.
It makes a lot of sense. We do definitely have a lot more time than we really think. And, you know, a lot of that time it's pushing your business. And like we said before this, getting on live, you know, talking about having that focus on education and how just important the education is. It makes all the difference in the world, because a lot of things, and you actually mentioned this a little bit earlier in the video, is about things being blurry, right? And that's kind of one of the things. Part of the conversation, it's funny you said that afterwards, was part of the conversation I had with William and Amaka, my photo and video people, where I was like, look, I'm going to tell you a lot of stuff. I'm going to sit you down. You're going to look at the computer. You're going to be like, what the heck? Mikey's this guy moves too fast, because I don't have a lot of patience, right? Because I'm trying to accomplish, so much in a day, right? Way more than I really should. So I don't have a lot of time and extra time for fluff and be nice and everything else. But I'm like, look, what I'm going to show you, it might be a little blurry in the beginning, but as I continue to show things and you continue to learn, everything becomes a lot more clear. Right. And one of my analogies that make it really easy is one of my favorite all-time movies I haven't seen in a while is The Matrix. Do you remember The Matrix? Keanu Reeves? Yep. Okay. So when Keanu Reeves, when he first saw The Matrix, which is like that computer screen, and you see all those numbers and letters, it's like all this stuff, right? And you're just like, me, you, everyone's watching the movie. It's just like, I don't understand the Matrix, right? And Keanu didn't at first. But once he started to learn and educate himself, right? That all those numbers and letters and everything going down, the matrix, he could see what it meant. It was clear.
Yep.
Right. And as an entrepreneur, when you first start, you're just like Keanu Reeves in The Matrix when he first got there, and all those, it's just like this, right? You're just like that. But guess what? If you dedicate some of the time, effort, energy, and education, I promise you, things will become more clear. You can be like Keanu Reeves in The Matrix. Everyone wants to be able to like that guy.
Hey, Mikey, watch this. And you and I talked about it before we jumped on. As I look at my calendar, we got it blocked off. Friday, nothing is scheduled except I do a 10 a.m. Meeting with my techs, and the rest of the day is open. Like, you cannot book anything. So now, unless I choose to put something in there, that Friday is typically my day to learn, to grow, to study. Monday through Thursday, I'm in the business. I'm making sure that things are working, whatever I have scheduled, making sure systems, automation, and operations are being taken care of. And Friday is that day. Saturday and Sunday, all on the calendar. You must, this is for everybody. If you don't get organized, that's probably the best way to say it. You have to get organized. And Mikey, what happens is We bring bad life habits over into business. So your life ain't organized. So we bring in those same habits over into our business, and then we wonder why we don't have the success. You must begin to organize your life, and your business is going to fall in naturally. But you just take a month, every month. These are the 3 targets. And this is what I'm going to do to hit them. This is blocked off. These are the times that are blocked off. And you'll be amazed how much time you have open. And along with that, Mikey, I just want to add this in. You talked about the matrix. I need for everybody, it doesn't matter what you're selling. Every product needs to have a story attached to it. Every product needs to have some sort of story attached. I'm gonna tell you why. Remember, on Netflix, Made in America, the Madam CJ Walker. I'm gonna tell you, I only saw the first 7 minutes of the first episode. Haven't watched any more of it. The first 7 minutes changed the game for me. She was telling the story about how, she was started off and lost her hair and all that. And then at the end of the 6-minute mark, she was in a courtyard. And she was actually telling that story to a group of young girls. And the first young girl said, "Oh my God, that was a great story. Let me get a can." "Oh my God," the next girl, "That story was great. Let me get a can." And she sold the product based on the story. And a lot of us are trying to sell products just to sell product. You got to find something that separates you from the competitors. Everybody got hair. Everybody got t-shirts. Everybody got, there's no crazy new product out there in the marketplace. So you have to find something that creates that separation from you and everybody else. So one, I know what you do, Mikey. You educate people. That education is phenomenal. You stay on track with people. You're messaging people at the stop sign, right? You're doing lives. So you're separating yourself from the average. I'm gonna use this word, and I know you're more than that. From the average person that's selling hair, because you're going beyond that. There is literally a brand attached to your product. There's a story attached to it, and you're consistently educating your marketplace. So for everybody that's listening, you're not just selling a product. There needs to be a story attached to it, and that story needs to connect to the brand and the product. I just wanted to make sure I got that in before I forgot.
No, it's so true. And actually, a lot of people that know me, and for the last couple of years, I've been going live in this group and doing website reviews. Okay. So what I do is say, hey, I call it 2-minute website reviews, and I go through the website and I'm like, look, I'm going to give you the honest opinion of the website. I'm not your family member, because, too much when you ask your family, how's my website look? It's the worst website in the world. Oh, honey, it looks so good. And this, that, there. It gets you nowhere, because in my first business, everyone told me all I did was everything right. And I failed. I was when my first business really went down, I was broke. I was negative, debt collectors calling, everything for it took 3 years to get out of it. Right. So I don't want the people in the group to go through that. So I'm very honest. I give them a little warning, because some people are sensitive, right? We're all sensitive sometimes. It's their baby. But I'm like, look, your websites work. But getting into that, one of the things that I always talk about, you guys know me that have seen this, who knows this, is the about section of your website. So what Kendall was just talking to you about your story. And I tell you guys every time, hey, the about page, it's so important for your business. Have a very presentable, a very nice profile picture. Have some good information. But if you really want to win, you have to have a video and talk about why you're in the hair business. Put that video up. If it's your first video and it's not that great, it's okay. At least it's something, and your next video will be better. Your next video after that will be better. But until you make that first crappy video, none of the other videos are going to be better. So it's better just to go ahead and let's just get it out of the way, right? It's the same as everything, right? This is not going to be that great, but guess what? You have to be not great to get to great. It's just that simple.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't get
it's
to
just
great.
That simple.
You don't just jump over the great. You got to go through the steps.
Yeah. Yeah. So, getting into that, we talked about time management. A lot of people wanted to know about staying focused, right? Because it's one of those things right now where I feel like we are in a time of in our history of humankind, our level of focus is probably at the lowest level in the history of humankind, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of that is, I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I know you probably do too, yes. Because there's so many great things about it, but so many bad things about it that, and one of it is man, you start scrolling and you're like, wait a second, I've been on here 15 minutes looking at this when I should be working on my business, and then you don't think you have enough time for your calendar and everything else. So not time. So how do you stay focused? Because that's an important part of time going into the time management and priority management is being focused.
Yeah, it's your why. Like, you have to stay connected to your reason for doing what it is that you do. And for me personally, I just dropped a video on this. I think we did last week. But for me personally, remember when we just started, Mikey? We were talking about, you just talked about how broke you were, the bankruptcy, people coming back, things like that. Here's one of the things that I know for sure. I did the statistics. Up to 10% of the American population only makes six figures a year. Only, I think they maxed out 10% make six figures a year. That means there's probably 90% of the American population that make below six figures a year. There's 4% that make, or 5 or 4% that make 7 figures a year. And then you get into even more, but the percentages are low. The vast majority of the population is either below six figures average or working poor, right? So you describe moments in your entrepreneurial journey where you were broke, near bankruptcy, all of that. I've shared stories where the house was in foreclosure. They repoed both cars on the same night from out of the driveway. I was sleeping in the airports, on the road, like when we were broke. And let me tell you how I stay focused. I had a theme in 2019. My theme for the year was, I can't go back.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go back.
Actually, I say that I took that from you. I said, I've been broke before and I'm never going back. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I think when we talk about staying focused, I focus on my why. So my why is, I can't go back. And what I do personally, Mikey, is I create accountability around that. So I pulled my wife off her job last year. That was six figures that I knew I had to duplicate in the business, right? And put her on payroll, right? So I knew that's an accountability which helped me to be more responsible in the business, which connected to, I can't go back. Then I turned around and we got 15 people on the team on payroll. I can't go back, right? I used to be an alcoholic. I can't go back. And so everybody on this call, when you talk about focus, forget the focus. Think about why you got into this. Think about who you were before you got into this, or think about where you want to be as a part of coming into entrepreneurship or being a business owner. And you always have to find that theme in your head that says, regardless of what's going on in the outside, in the world, you need to stay focused on what's in front of you and what's ahead of you based on what you want to accomplish with your life and who's around it for you. So I had to tell my wife the other day, she was looking at CNN and, it's just all, and don't get me wrong, I'm with all that, but CNN is not paying these bills. CNN is not keeping things going. So I'm telling my wife, I need you to stop pouring that into your head. I want you to go watch this, Mikey. If we took the amount of time that we were on social media and put that in business media, I'm gonna let that breathe. And there's a difference between social media and business media. Business media is we're on social media, extracting the business components and aspects that will benefit us and our future and current customers and clients so we can learn. But when you get so caught up in social, remember, I said there's 80 to 90% of the American population that's below average, below average, not making money. Those are the people that are on social media. So if you want to just be like everybody else, that's fine. But if you're an entrepreneur, keep in mind, what is the statistic? 70% to 90% of every new business falls and fails.
Right.
The only way for you to not be a statistic is for you to work 3 times as hard. And remember when all this started happening, Mikey, you sent me a Facebook Messenger. We're going back and forth. And I never forget this. One of the first things you said was, we're going to have to work twice as hard. Mm-hmm. We're going to have to work twice as hard. And when you said that, I was like, yup. So my focus got narrower. And where I'm at now, where Mikey is now, we have added so much responsibility to our why. So it's not just the why, it is the responsibility now that's attached to it. Some of y'all got kids you got to take care of. Your mom needs you, your brothers, your sisters. Some of y'all are mentors and to people that are looking for you, your family members. Some of y'all just want to do it just to say you did it. Whatever that reason is, you got to connect to it and stay in that game, and don't allow what's on the outside of you to distract that thing on the inside of you that's going to drive you.
Yeah, if you guys are watching this, I would really love to know, what is your why? What is the reason behind starting the business? You can leave a comment. I'm going to try to reply to a lot of them after this. You know, for me personally, because a lot of people ask me before when I would go live and say, hey, ask me anything, ask some questions. You know, my big why over the last few years with this business was always my mom. Right. So when we were growing up, my father left us when we were young, never paid child support. And you know what? That's a lot of people probably that are listening to this. The same thing happened to them. Right. It was a common problem. So it was always a struggle growing up. We did grow up, fortunately, in a nice area. We lived with my grandmother, you know, but high school, senior year, I was working 40 hours a week, right? And I didn't have the guidance to get like a great job. I was making like $5 an hour. So I wasn't really making a lot of money. It was getting me by, right? But it was one of those things like people ask. And so it was always like, you know, just late last year, you know, after years and years of reinvesting back in the business, which was one of the questions we can talk about, is like how long you should reinvest back in the business. I remember sending a message to my mom, like, Mom, like, you don't have to worry. Like, business is good. Things are stable now. We've reinvested for years. Like, you don't have to worry anymore. Yep. I've got tons of points. If you want to fly anywhere in the world, you let me know. I will use my points. Like, yep. You know, I flew up to, I'll never forget, late last year, I flew her up for her, like, 100th year high school reunion, not 100, but it was like 60-year high school reunion, something like that.
Hold on, Mike.
And I had booked her.
What is your high school reunion now? Yours is about 30 years, right?
I just had my 25 year about a year or two ago. So yeah, I'm getting there.
So it's reasonable for Mom to
yeah. You know, and I'll never forget, like, cause I'd have dinner with my mom every Thursday, and I was like, she's like, oh, I'd love to go up to the city. I was like, yeah, Mom, let's set it up. And she's like, I was like, I'll put your, you know, I have her Delta app. I got her name, everything there. I was like, I'll book it right now. Just tell me the day. She kind of like hinched over and looked at me, says, can you book me first class? Because once you get that taste of first class, I was like, Mom, of course I'm going to book you first class at DC, you know, where I'm from. And I was like, Of course. But like, once you get that taste, because it's actually funny, you know, but back on my mom, like, so, you know, as some of my friends in the group, I'm friends with a lot of people in the group, you know, late last year, Christmas Eve, we had a dramatic event where someone smashed one of these giant, if you've been to private label extensions, we have these giant windows, right? Someone smashed this big window. My mom was all pissed off. She was going through some health issues. And then, you know, I missed Christmas Day with my family, which really, really hurt me, because Christmas is just a big time of year for our family to get together. And then, you know, some complications, and my mom had with our family, had a really dramatic death, right? But my mom was really my why, because I wanted to be able to say, Mom, you don't have to worry anymore. Like, we're good now. Like, we finally, I feel like I haven't say I like made it, but I feel like everything's stable. So you just don't have to worry, right? Yeah. Like, it's nice. You know, someone asked me, you know, how much is like your car payment or something? I was like, I don't even remember right now, right? Not saying that I have that much money, but it's not a worry.
Mikey, how about
you know what I'm saying,
how much
right?
gas is? How much is gas? I remember there was a time where I was pinching
I don't know.
for gas. And like, I literally told my sister the other day, she asked me, she said, what are the gas prices like in Georgia? Because she's out of state. And I was like, I don't know. I ain't looked at the gas. It doesn't matter what gas is. Even if it's $5 a gallon, it's irrelevant. If I need to go somewhere, I'm going to go.
It's just like that. So, you know, that was always my why. But like, I had to refocus in the last 6 months. And I think the group will notice, like, I've been super active in the group. And really what I've done is kind of like, to help deal with the pain of my mom, is I've really got into just working nonstop. And that's just kind of how I deal with the pain. But, you know, my why now is, and it has been, but now it's even a bigger focus. And that's kind of why we're doing like this huge pledge to give back to the community, is to make more entrepreneurs in this group successful. You know, hands down, my goal is make more people successful, give them all the tools, give them the technology, the products, the access, the knowledge, everything. So if anyone's watching this and they wonder what's my why, you know, That's my why. I want to make you successful. It is so rewarding. It could be people message, my messenger is crazy, by the way, because we have so many people in this group. It could be 2:00 in the morning and someone's just like, Mikey, I just got my first sale. And it's just like, man, that made my day. You know what I mean? Yep. Or Mikey, like, I've been with you for so long, in this, and, my business is killing it. Yep. Right. I had one of my friends come in today, and his girlfriend's from Charlotte, because we're thinking about opening up Charlotte. And he's like, well, what do some of your top clients do? I was like, man, I had a client do, like, she sold $100,000 last month, using all our systems. And he's like, and he's telling his girlfriend, you better get back in the game, because she was in Charlotte. She's like, look, he's like, Charleston, let's open up Charleston, all this stuff. And it's just like, so I would love to know what the group's why is, because it's really interesting to me. But it is so important to have that why, because when you're tired, when you're falling asleep, when you need to push harder, when you need to send that one more email, you have to reach out to your why. Why am I doing all this? Why am I experiencing the pain, the tired, the struggle, right? What is it? Why am I doing this? And that should be your answer.
Let me add on to that with you, Mike. And this is what everybody needs to, like, everybody that's listening to us, that's in the group, you're set apart from the average person. Like, you're not going to move the way the average person moves. Your why is going to drive you to do things that you've never done before, to make moves that you haven't done before. It should take your work ethic to another level. So even if you ask Mikey, his friends, he probably has very few friends that he spends a lot of time with. And then there were friends that were like, hey man, you don't have time for us anymore. I know you heard this. All you want to do is work, right? And they don't realize that work for us is actually like life. It's not work. Like, we love it. And because of the why that drives us, and everybody that's listening, you got to find something that's going to drive you from the inside out. Your why can't be money. It's not going to be. It needs to be intrinsic.
No. Oh, no.
Yeah, it needs to be intrinsic, because if your why is money, I promise you're not going to get what you think you're going to get early on. You're going to have to build it. And when you don't get it, you'll get so depressed, so upset, it ain't strong enough to keep you in the game. You need something that's going to be internal. And it can't, this is the other thing I hear from people. I'm my why. You're going to let yourself down every day of the week. I didn't get good sleep Wednesday night, Mikey. And I had a 5 a.m. call that I missed, and a 6 a.m. with my trainer that I missed. And I said, I'm getting rest. You're going to let yourself down all the time. Your why needs to be connected to somebody and something that you love, that you're willing to go do. You'll run through a brick wall for them. And it's that thing that's going to keep you moving when you don't feel like it. So like my wife says to me all the time, she was like, do you ever stop? And probably just like with you on your end, my team, they gave me a nickname. I'm the a-hole. And they called me the a-hole because I'm driving everybody to be great. I'm driving everybody so that we can continue to keep this business moving, because I got something driving me. So I want you to ask yourself, what's driving you? You can't see it. It's that why. Your why is what's going to push you. When your why is going to push you into your passion, into your purpose. And here's the other thing. If the people that you're connected to can't pick you up when you feel like giving up, then you need to kick them to the curb.
Right. Oh, yeah. That's what it's, you're what is it? How many 6 people that you're around, like who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
It's so true. Like it's unbelievable how true that is.
Yep.
It's unbelievable. It's funny. You talk about, do you ever stop? I was home. I'm going to see if I can pull this up real quick while I'm chatting. I was working, and we've been working insane amount of hours and everything else over the past, really this whole entire year. It just never stops. So sometimes I'll come home, I just like absolutely crash. And this is a picture. I'll share this picture with the group. So this is a picture. Let's see if I can get it here. This is me, and I'm sleeping. And my girlfriend said, I fell asleep replying to a comment to somebody in the group. And I was just working, and I just and I literally fell asleep middle comment, because she looked at my phone because she was talking to me and I didn't respond. She's like, what is wrong with him? And looks over, and I'm just out, and then looks at my phone, and literally I'm passed out, like replying to a comment. But that's what it takes. Like, if you're not willing to go that far, don't expect success. And when you see people that have reached success, I said this before, is you're going to have two emotions, right? You're going to either feel, when you see somebody else successful, right? You're going to either feel motivated and excited, or you're going to feel jealous. Those are the general two emotions you're going to feel. If you are feeling jealous, okay, I don't know if you're going to be great in business, because you just don't understand what it takes or what it needs to happen. If you feel motivated, right? If you have that motivation feeling, like for me, I see other people doing stuff and I'm just like, holy cow, they did that? How did they do that? I need to do that. Exactly. It's motivation to be better, to be greater every day. So if you're feeling that jealousy, figure out what's wrong. Why are you thinking this way? When you should use this as motivation to be better, because really it's that motivation is going to take you to the next level in your business as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Here's a quote I want to share with everybody. Write this down, guys, ladies and guys. Go to bed tired, wake up hungry. Every day. Go to bed tired and wake up hungry every day. Use the night to refuel, and your day should be spent hunting and farming. Yeah. Spend your days hunting and farming. Hunting means you're going out looking for new business, looking for new customers. Farming is you're taking care of the current customers and the current people that you do business with. And you hunt and you farm every single day. And then at night when you come home, Mikey went to sleep farming. Bro, you went to sleep farming, bro. Like you were taking care of the people in the group, responding to questions. That's farming. And if you wake up, if you go to bed tired because you've been hunting and farming all day long, when you wake up the next day, you do the same thing. And then now if you're hunting, you're out there, you're looking for new business, you farming, you're taking care of, you're cultivating the current relationships that you have. That's really what this thing is all about, hunting and farming. And you're doing it in life and you're doing it in business. You're hunting new targets, new accomplishments. I love Mikey because you do all the traveling. You're always hunting for a new experience. But in that hunting, you're looking for new outlets, new business partners. And then you're farming. You'll send mom away. That's farming. That's cultivating a family relationship. You'll take friends with you. You'll meet with people. That's farming. Everybody on here, you need to be hunting and farming 7 days a week in life and in business. That's all. What else is it to it? And watch this. If we do it every day, Mikey, if you hunt and farm every day, you're going to create a system. You create momentum. And if you're hunting every day and you know what you're hunting and what you're doing, you're going to build up new relationships and you're cultivating current relationships. And that's the best business. Life is the best business that you can run.
Yeah. No, it's so true. Going into that, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. So some just real good questions people asked. Yeah, let's go top 5 things you need to be successful. Like, what's your top 5?
Oh, hunting and farming is number 1.
Okay, so hunting and farming, guys.
Hunting and farming. You need to educate yourself, right? You need to change your circle of influence, right? Hunting, farming, educate yourself, change your circle of influence. Go to bed tired, wake up hungry. And the last thing that I believe, which means everything, you need to have a top 5. These are your top 5 mentors. The top 5 people that are in your circle, I like to call them your board of directors. The top 5 people that are in your circle that you can drop ideas on, that you can connect with, that you can have a relationship with. Mikey and I do lunch like when things are normal. Even if we miss 6 months, we'll just reach out and be like, hey, let's get together for lunch. And it ain't nothing big or heavy, but we're dropping ideas. I'm catching nuggets. We're talking, we're growing. I'm
catching nuggets too. Trust me. No, it goes both ways.
People you need to have your accountant. You need to make sure that you have a financial planner, because the biggest thing that most people, this is the shaky piece, Mikey. And I don't know if you got the question, but most people don't have an ESG. I call it the money model, the ESG. And that is earn it, save it, grow it, rinse and repeat. So that means as you go out, you get new business, you bring in new customers, you're earning revenue, you're earning money. You need to save it to grow it. Save it means invest it back into the business so that you can grow the business. Now, as you increase that revenue, right? I hit Mikey yesterday and I said, yo, we did X amount last month, biggest month that I've had without doing speaking. This was all revenue. And so in my head, I'm like, oh, this is great because I can take this earned income and I can put it over into the vertical, the passive side. So that now that one day when we really see people on the beach working like you, and you ain't really working, it's because they're living off of passive income. And so you think about those 5 things. And as that last thing, your board of director, your top 5, those are people that can help you grow beyond the business that you can currently see. So like, what does your life look like in 10 years? I'm 52. At 62 years old, I plan to be living the majority of my life off of passive income, which means I don't have to go as hard as I'm going in the business, but I can use that energy to do some of the philanthropic work I want to do some of the other things that I want to do. We're still going to be earning, but it's that passive piece. So earn it, save it, to grow it. And then you build the business up, and then you go from the vertical, the earned income, over into the horizontal, the passive income, and you grow your passive. Passive is real estate, stocks, mutual funds, anything that's going to get you. I'm sorry, this is how I like to tell people: when your money becomes an employee for you, right? And you put the money out into the marketplace and allow the money to bring money back.
Right. Yeah.
What's your top 5, Mikey?
I didn't even think about my top 5 because I knew you were going to, my top 5 is, I would say, number 1 is consistency. Okay. Consistency, because, people ask how we have been successful in the industry. It's day in, day out, being consistent. Okay. When I'm tired, I'm consistent. When I'm upset, it doesn't matter. I'm consistent. It doesn't matter what my emotions are. I treat my business as something that is way bigger than me, right? Because it is. It has employees. There's so many families that rely on us now, so being consistent in business. Number 2 is definitely education, because there's things I do within the education, more stuff that I learn. It gets me more time. I can move faster and everything back in the business. Reinvesting back in the business, which is one of the questions that we had some group members on there. Reinvesting, people see that, we probably sell a lot now and think that I'm balling out of control. Look, until last year, because my accountant told me I'm crazy, I drove the same 13-year-old Scion XB. It's like a white box. Remember that white box pulling in for lunch? Look, same Scion XB, right? And people are like, why do you still drive that car? I was like, I got to invest in the business. Like, I'm not paying myself all this money. I got to invest in the business. I have staff to worry about. We have to get, our showroom stuff done. We got to get computers for the staff to have the right tools to help be, to be successful for our clients, other kind of stuff, right? So it's going back into that reinvesting. The personal health, I think, is really important. If the times that I work out and I really focus on eating healthy and working out, I'm always better in business. Sometimes we fall off the bandwagon, and notice like the business will start falling off the bandwagon a little bit. And, if you can't afford a gym membership, look, I understand. I've been there so many times. Honestly, go for a walk. Like they say, just go for a walk, go for an hour walk. And when you're walking, listen to like a podcast. Podcasts are free. Right? Listen to an educational podcast so you can walk and learn at the same time. Number five is really understand your purpose, kind of like the same thing with your why, right? For me, my purpose is I want to infinitely grow the company because I have people with me that I want to bring up with me, right? I want to have people that started with us. Employee number 1, 2, and 3 are still with the company. Like very few companies that are 7 years old can say employee 1, 2, 3 are still with them, right? There's a reason for that, right? So really having that understanding the purpose. I want to make people successful. I want to create the tools. We invest some of the tools, like one of our drop shipping tools that, we have with Shopify. It costs me like way over $100,000 to build this. And the reason why I built it, it makes it easier for our clients to manage their online stores. Like that's a huge investment, huge, that's a profit. We got to sell a lot of hair at our prices to have $100,000, $200,000 in profit. That's just to build it, not ongoing for this system, to be able to invest, to make it easier and better for other people. So I really think that's my top 5. And, getting into the investing, for me personally, how do you pay yourself and everything else? I take a moderate salary. And if the company does really well, we will pay ourselves some dividends, which honestly, I'm so focused on growing the company. My business partner, who's a silent partner, luckiest guy in the world, but I love the guy. I was like, look, don't expect to get paid a lot of money from this company. We got to build this thing. We got to be stable. We have so many clients relying on us. When COVID happened, they're like, oh my God, are you guys shutting down? What are you doing? And I'm like, look, I'm going to go to the grave before I shut this down because I have thousands of dropship customers that need their orders going out. Okay. Like we are going to figure this out, ride or die. I know ride or die is like an old kind of saying, but look,
but it's true.
Look, I'm 43. So look, I'm ride or die with stuff.
You ain't as young as you used to be, Mike.
I know. But when it comes to business and my clients and my staff, like they know I am ride or die, but when I first started the business, I was working 50 hours a week, and I would manage the business before and after. We got our first employee 1, employee 2, employee 3. 2.5 years later, I was employee number 4. Okay. 2.5 years later, before I paid myself my first dollar after working thousands of hours in the business, I had to make sure after having that first business failure, I had to make sure that this business was stable and could sustain me coming on full time. And when it did, that's when really the business blew up. But it took 2.5 years.
During that 2.5 years, I remember you were working. I remember you were working
50 hours plus a week. that. You know that. You were there. You saw it. Like it was not an easy job. I was in real estate managing like way too many properties, driving all over town. And that's when I knew gas was like $4 something an hour. Okay. Like 5-6 years ago. Wait, no, longer than that, like 8-9 years ago, gas was like $5 an hour. I'm driving all over town, renovating properties, trying to lease properties, do all this stuff. Trust me, it hurt so bad in that white box Scion, by the way. But that's what it took. But it made me a better person to be here today and understand the experiences other people have of like, I don't have money to start. Okay, well, let me help you out. I try to give away a lot as much as we can, which it's good and bad because sometimes when you get stuff for free, it's easy to walk away. Right. So if someone's giving you a gift of something to get your business going, really take that, embrace it, and understand the value of this. And you have to take it and run. It's so important.
Let me give you some, and this is real to go along with what you just said, Mikey. Like when people don't have skin in the game, it's easy to walk away. So if I think about the people that are close to me, and my kids, right? Kids, they've seen me just like with you come from zero to where we are in a successful business. So evidently I've proven that I know what I'm doing, and people literally pay me to help them be successful, literally.
Right.
So now when I want to work with the kids and say, look, you can do X, Y, and Z, because they're not paying and they don't have any skin in the game, they don't take it serious and it's easy to walk away. So what I did was just last week, I said, no more freebies for nobody. No family, no freebies, because you got to have something in the game. There needs to be something in it for you. And I learned this a long time ago about mutualism, right? Making sure that every relationship that you have with a person or a thing is mutual, meaning it might not be equal giving. You might not be able to give equally, but there's equal sacrifice. And so when we work with people, when we do decide to say, you know what, I'm going to work with you, they might not be able to give equally, but we need to see the sacrifice. Right. And that's what really is going, if you can sacrifice. One of the things I've learned about you, Mike, and I've seen it for years, you don't mind working with or helping anybody. But when you give people information and they don't do anything with it, it's like, why should I waste my time anymore?
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah. That's why we created articles. Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly. Let me share with everybody. I want to give some numbers to go along with what you said about paying yourself first and reinvesting back into the business. So when I did about 2 years ago, I started paying myself $15,000 a month, right? Which was the most that I've ever made in a month paying myself. And I did that for almost a year, and it was killing me. It was killing the business. Let me just say it was killing me. I was putting the money back into the business, most of it anyway. So I had to do this thing, and everybody has heard this. You got to know your numbers. How much does it cost you to live in your personal space per month, all of your personal expenses per month? And so what I did was I said, I need to take myself off of that $15,000. I'm going to put that back in the business. I'm only going to pay myself what it costs me to live, to take care of the family. And that's exactly what I did. and I'm still not on payroll. Still not on payroll. I have committed, just like you said, to say, you know what? I'm going to put it back into the business. I'm going to put it back into the business. I got my wife on payroll, and I'm paying her a modest salary. And that modest equals up to 6 figures, right? And then we take out what we need to pay for the house. But for me personally, I'm not paying myself anything. I'm putting it back into the business. Everybody knows it's your business. If you need something, you can take a draw if it gets that bad. But the mindset needs to be, I want to put everything I got, not just blood, sweat, tears, put your money back into the business, because now you got skin in the game. And here's where the mindset shifts. You have to think like a business owner, think like an entrepreneur, and say, I'm not spending money. It's not an expense. It's an investment. And you just said it. You're investing money in apps for the Shopify. You're investing money. And when you think about investing, at some point, you're looking to get a return on it. And so when you shift your mindset from like, I don't want to put this out. Yeah, make the investment. And the best and the biggest investment that you can make is in yourself. And if you won't bet on you, why should anybody else bet on you? If you won't bet on yourself, why should your customers do business with you? If you won't we're looking at an app right now. I want to do a coaching app, a customized coaching app where people can put targets in and help track and be accountable. And so I'm writing all this stuff. And I just told my wife the other day, I said, I need to talk to Mikey about this because I know we had mentioned it. And I said, but I want this app. And, I'm thinking about it. She was like, it's going to be about 50 to maybe 80 grand. I'm like, yeah, it's an investment. It's an investment. Yeah. You just got to make an investment. Well, how are we going to get it back? Oh, we're going to get it back because it's an investment. And that's the mindset that we all have to do. So I'm saying to you, you figure out, just as a baseline, figure out how much it costs you to live, right? Not the extra stuff, not the going out, not the partying. How much does it cost you to live? And that's the salary. Pay yourself that. Pay so you can take care of your personal expenses and cover the house, right? And if it's not enough to keep the business going, you might need to go do Uber. You might need to go, like Mikey said, Mikey was still working for 2.5 years. I cut hair for 3 years. And even though I was cutting hair, I had my own shop, I hated cutting hair. It had become like a job to me. Right. And so you have to do what you have to do. And then when you talk about reinvest, you reinvest back into the business. Keyword, invest back into the business, which means whatever number that is, look to get a return on.
Man, guys, you can't, like, the information here, like, you're going to save this video, watch it a few times. I mean, this is honestly, if you follow a lot of this is life-changing. Kendall and I both mentioned we never had anything like this. Like, imagine if we had this kind of information when we got started. Like, it's unbelievable. The information's out there, and we will give you, we're happy to give you the information, but you have to look inside yourself of, what am I going to do with this information? Do I really want this? Am I going to do it consistently, day in, day out, month after month, and realize that, most businesses take years to be successful, years. So if you're not willing to make that multi-year commitment to see success, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's just not going to happen overnight. Like, it just is. You see these little stories about, like, Instagram kind of happened overnight or something, but it's like one in millions of businesses. I'm not a lucky guy. I never get anything lucky. Like, I have friends that do like a referral deal and he gets like $100,000 for it. And I'm like, I about killed myself just to do anything to get something like that, right? Like, I don't expect those deals ever to come. My stuff is always going to be hard work, and I've accepted that. I'm just not a lucky person, but you got to put in the work. You got to just put in the work. I mean, it's just that simple.
Yeah. And let me say this too, guys. As you're coming into the business, have a target for the year. How much revenue do you want? Gross revenue do you want your business? And look, don't say I want to do 10 million in the first year. Stop it. Yeah. Make sure the target is smart. Make sure that it is realistic, that you can actually hit the number. And then once you have that yearly target, break it down, divide it by 12. And then that means every month, this is your monthly number. Every month you got to hit this number. And then you literally, what I talked about before, what 3 to 5 strategies am I going to do consistently to drive attention and traffic to this product in my war chest that will help me get to that number? And you keep it simple like that. Everything else is going to fall into place. The education, the team, the systems, the automation. You'll start thinking like, what system, what automation do I need to put in place to help me work these strategies to drive traffic? And that's how you're going to grow it, brick by brick, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year.
That's it. It's just that simple. Well, look, guys, I don't want to take any more of Kendall's time. This is like his Friday that he's used for like education. I mean, I'm more thankful than ever that he got on this.
This is the education, though. I'm getting educated.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, this is just really important that we've had his time. If you've enjoyed it, I have his Instagram there. I highly recommend following him at Kendall Ficklin. Some just phenomenal information and motivation and just real true like core values. Kendall Ficklin is not like a motivational speaker or anything like that. He works with people that it's like the core values that you got to understand and really understand and implement for your business to be successful. There's no way around it. You can't skip chapters, guys. You can't skip chapters. Yeah. So Kendall, is there anything else you want to say to everyone before we go?
Most people want what it looks like, but not everybody is willing to go through what it feels like. And it's going to hurt.
We'll end it with that, guys. Yeah, it's going to hurt. We'll end it with that. So thank you so much, Kendall. We really appreciate your time. I'm going to be on with you tomorrow, Coffee with Kendall at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to be in Kendall's group talking. So I'm excited about that. I love speaking to Kendall's. Kendall's just got an amazing group. So thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll try to get some answers. And hopefully we'll have Kendall back in a few months. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.